name is Sharon Rogers, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Wells, Maine. And every Friday at 7:30, I like to bring you a project. And tonight is no different. So let's see. I don't see any, well, I see people on, but I don't see anybody chiming in the chat to let me know who they are. So welcome. It's probably some of my Vermont friends since they don't usually log into YouTube. But if it's you, Tony, hi Tony, I see you. It could be Elaine too. But let's see, we have a cute project tonight featuring the Cutest Cows bundle from Stampin' Up. And this is a bundle that is the bundle is not continuing on into the next annual catalog, but the products are. So even if you miss out on this during April, when you can save 10%, it will still be there in May and for the next year because it's in the annual catalog. But if you can save money, why wouldn't you want to? So just as we're getting ready to, to start, but I'm going to wait just a couple more minutes for people to chime in here. Just a reminder that the last chance list is in effect now, as are the discounts that are being applied. And sometime this week, I'm going to go live and just do some sort of, highlight of some of my favorites that are retiring. I haven't decided when yet, because it might depend on how much I have to do to get ready for my stamp retreat next weekend. But I'm in pretty good shape, I think. So anyway, what do you say we get started and I introduce you to the Cutest Cows? Let me turn you down. Let me get rid of my keyboard. Let me turn you down. All right, there was my monitor. Let me get my lights down here where they belong and get rid of my mouse. I'm going to bring in a base of thick basic white cardstock. Now remember, the cardstock is going up in price beginning in May. So now's a great time to stock up on cardstock. And until this Sunday, you can, with your order of $35 or more, you can qualify for a card kit that features this beautiful flowering something. Hold on, what is it? Layered florals. It's not flowering anything. Layered florals card. This was featured in my Tune In Tuesday class this week on Tuesday. And so I've shown you several different methods, a couple of different Joseph Coates techniques. And then what you can do, so you can omit a little piece of embossing here. These two are pretty much the same technique, except I've used the same color ink as cardstock here to make it pop off a little bit, and here I've used the white. So orders of $35 or more will qualify you to receive the card supplies, the paper supplies, embellishments, to create these 6 cards. If your order is $60 or more, I'm going to give you that class kit, plus a package of basic rhinestone jewels, plus a sheet of each of the new in colors so that are coming up. So you'll have them firsthand to see which ones you like. But that's good only through Sunday evening at 9 o'clock. All right. So we are going to be using a technique called around the block. I'm taking this piece of the Flowering Zinnias Designer Series paper. It's got green on both sides, granny apple green, and looks like mossy meadow, maybe a little garden green. There's a bunch of greens in there. We're going to split it up. I've already pre-cut the pieces. So I cut 2 pieces that measure 4 1/4 by 1 inch. And I cut 2 pieces that measure 3 by 1. And these 3 by 1 ones, if you're using a directional paper, which I did use here, you want them to go portrait. So you want them to be running vertically. These two right here should run horizontally if they're directional, but I'm not using this side. I'm using this side. Okay. Now, this technique is called around the block, or it's not really a technique. This layout is called around the block, and you don't need this sheet of 4 by 5 1/4, but it helps line some things up, and I'll show you what I mean in a minute. So what we're going to do here, and if you didn't want to use that other piece of cardstock, we're just going to take these strips and butt them up one to another. And you get something that looks like that. Now, it's a little bit finicky as to getting everything kind of squared up on the page, and that's where this comes in handy. I'm going to bring my glue in, and I'm going to just put a little bit of glue on the back. So this piece, I'm going to start in that upper left-hand corner and just put it right to the edges. Okay. And then I'm going to take one of the other pieces. I'm just going to go right around the block, or right around the base, if you will. And that fits right in there nicely. Because remember, this was 5 1/4 inches. This was cut at 4 1/4, and this was 1 inch wide, so that makes that 5 1/4. I'm going to take this piece. So you could use, if you didn't want to, use up a piece of cardstock. I mean, I think it's totally worth it here. You could use a piece of just regular copy paper, because you're really just using it for the size to get this arranged perfectly. All right, there we go. And so that's our around the block technique. Now, if you were making a really, really simple card, you could certainly just stamp a greeting in there, add a couple gems, maybe a little ribbon bow, pop it on a card, and you'd be done. But that's not what we're doing tonight. I am going to pop this on this card. So now you can see it's much easier to arrange now that these are all tacked down, glued down. All right. Let's see here. Oh, we're up to a few more of you watching tonight. Again, if you're watching, go ahead and chime in. Did it rain where you all were today? It poured here in the morning, and it was pretty windy, but we seem to have survived it okay. Now, I am bringing in the cutest cows set. This set is so adorable, has some really fun little sayings. Now, this is not a fun little saying. The little things you do make such a big difference. But it's a nice saying, nice sentiment. But holy cow, that's kind of fun. Congratulations is serious. But holy cow, congratulations. And you combine that with milk it for all it's worth. A little pun there. That's fun, right? And you got a little milk can here if you want it. Or it's your special day. Milk it for all it's worth. So much fun. What's moo with you? And of course, thank you. And then you've got all these adorable little mix and match pieces. So you've got cows that can point in either direction. So this one would be a bull, right? Because there's no udder. And then this one is the cow. And this one's a laying down cow. And then you've got 3 faces. And then you've got some other things. Now, there is a coordinating punch. Oh, where is the punch? Yeah, it's right over here on this other side. And this punch does not work with all the bodies, nor does it work with all the heads. So it works with the it works with this one. So when it's closed in its case, it's this topmost one. And what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little Sharpie, I think, and I'm just going to, that one is for use with the punch. And as far as the heads go, this one and this one. Okay, so the rest of them, if you want, you can fussy cut them, or you don't have to. You can just maybe punch out a head and just put the head up. But you can fussy cut or just stamp on the regular paper. All right. So we are going to bring in, or I'm going to bring in here a piece of basic white. And this is what's going to go in the center there. And the measurement for that is 2 1/4 by 3 1/2. And all these measurements will be on my blog a little bit later. I haven't quite finished the blog post. Oh, hi, Jean. How are you? Thank you for joining. Where are you from? This DSP, by the way, is the flowering zinnias. So I'm in Maine, Jean, and I'd love to know where you're from. So go ahead and type that in. So we're going to start with this one. And I'm going to, I think I'm going to use my cow. Oh, I've already actually mounted the cow onto here. I'm going to use my Memento black ink. So I'm going to be coloring with the blends, which are alcohol based. Okay, so there's my little cow's body. I'm going to attach a cow's head, but using dimensionals. So I'm going to go ahead and just stamp on a piece of scrap, also in Memento Black. Maryland. Oh, a nice spring evening there, huh? It was, well, it's feeling like spring here because of the rain, but it's not really warm. It was warm earlier in the week when we had the eclipse, and then after the eclipse, the weather kind of took a nosedive. I'm going to bring in my Stampin' Write marker. Now, I know I said I was going to be using my blends. I don't have the black blends. I do have the smoky slate ones, which are quite dark, but I really wanted black, so I'm going to just use my Stampin' Write marker. Now, this is water-based, so technically I shouldn't be using it with the Memento because they're both water-based and one will make the other run. But if black runs into black, that's okay, right? While we're at it, we'll color the spots on our cow. And you could make your cows any color you want. These happen to be my favorite, so Hereford, right? I think. I remember from my youth. I am clearly not a farmer. I'm going to go ahead and put the hooves in black as well. Okay, and now I'm going to switch to some other colors just because I want to, I don't want things to blend, or I don't want the black to blend into the colors. So this is my SU 1000. So this is from the neutral tone blends. And we're gonna go ahead and color the udder. And I'll do the nose of my cow. And I'm just going to put a little bit of pink in the ears. Okay. And if you wanted that to be a slightly creamier color, you could certainly use a different blend. This is the SU 900. It's also got a bit of a pinkish tint, but not quite as much. All right, if I take my little cow punch here and work it upside down and put that cow right in there and line it up until I'm happy with it. And then I squeeze down just a little bit to hold it in place. And then I use 2 hands. All right, so there's the head of my cow, and that's gonna go on right here. And I'll probably get a little bit more whimsical with it by putting it off to the side like that. You can make the head tilt any way you want. Probably not, well, yeah, I guess you can do it that way too. But I think a tilted head makes it definitely more whimsical and fun. I'm gonna bring in the little grass here. And I've got Granny Apple Green to do that with. I'm just going to protect my surface a little bit. I have something else I can protect my surface with. I have a Post-it note. All right, and I'm just going to stamp the grass repeatedly. I'm going to ink it up and stamp repeatedly. And it's okay if it goes onto his leg because, you know, if you've ever seen long grass, it kind of gets in the way of pictures. It's in front, but you can sort of see through it too. All right, let me just, there we go. So we've got a bunch of grass down there. And let's go ahead and bring in, there's a chicken and a rooster and a chick. I'm gonna bring in the chicken, but I think it's kind of a rooster. It's like a baby rooster or something. I don't know. Again, I was not raised on a farm. I was raised in farm country, but that's about as close as I wanted to get. I was raised in a house in the middle of a tiny town. Let's go ahead and just put our little chicken right here. And we need to color this chicken in. So I'm going to bring in my Daffodil Delight light. And I think I have a Daffodil Delight dark too if I wanted to, but I think the light's going to give me enough color. All right, I'm going to bring in a new color. This is Peach Pie, and this is coming out very shortly in May. I'm just going to add just a little bit of orange to this guy's beak. I'm going to bring in the dark Real Red blend and color that. So cute, right? So cute. All right, his head's going to go right here. Now we do need a sentiment. I'm going to go back to this, and I think I'm going to use "What's Moo with You?" What's moo in the neighborhood? What's moo in Mrs. Rogers' Stamperhood tonight? Because that's where you are right now. Let's go ahead and do that in a basic black. Oh yeah, I forgot I didn't put the head down yet. We have to do that. Let me go ahead and bring in some of my dimensionals. Still working on the edge of this one. Apply that right there. I think I am going to go this way. Nah, I don't know. Do I want to? Do I want to go this way? No, I think I do want to go this way. He's looking right at me and asking what's moo with me. All right, so at this point, you can go ahead and you can put this right on here. Now, if you want, you can take a piece of coordinating cardstock and mat this piece. So I've cut a piece of basic black just a little bit larger. So this piece of black measures 2.5 by 3 3/4, and we can put that right there, and you can see that really makes that stand right off. Let's do that. Could have used a darker green. Could have used a lighter green. You've got choices. Could have used a yellow. Something that you're pulling in from the rest of the card. And I'm going to go ahead and put this up on dimensionals. You know who I haven't seen on a Friday night in a while? My friend Ann C. I'm going to have to give her, message her and see if she's doing all right. She might have had a work schedule change. And so there we have that little card. If you want to add a little embellishment, not a bad idea. I'm trying to, I've got some supplies packed for a class that's coming up on Monday. And so I have to dig through to find them. But let's see if I can bring in the butterflies. Do I have the butterflies handy? I don't have my butterflies handy. But the brass butterflies would look great here. What I do have handy, oops, not in that one. What I do have handy, I use my old paper pumpkin boxes to go ahead and pack for travel. Keeps things all nice and neat. I do have these adhesive back dragonflies and birds, which at the moment are on back order. But let's go ahead and put a little dragonfly here, shall we? There. I want to make sure I have enough for my class, so I better not use 3. We'll call that good. But there is our little What's Moo with You card. Now on the inside, if you're going to stamp something on the inside, you have to be a little careful, because if you're going to color, remember the blends are going to bleed through. So either, I agree, Jean, this does have a lot of cute elements. So either you want to just stamp and color with regular markers. So for instance, let's go ahead and use these sunflowers. Where are the sunflowers? Right here. So I don't want to use blends because that's going to bleed through to the back and it just won't look very, very polished. I think I'm going to go on this side. Your Stampin' Right markers are water-based and they're not going to bleed through. So here is my Granny Apple Green. See, it's not bleeding through. I just fill these in. What else is nice about these particular images in this stamp set is they're not huge. So it's not going to take you a ton of time to color. I think this set, will go for kids and men and women. It really is going to cover a lot of card sending opportunities. So there's that. Let's go ahead and bring in the Daffodil Delight. And these petals are pretty small, so I'm going to go ahead and just color with the bullet tip. It goes pretty quickly. So if you are somebody who likes to color, give me a heart right now. Chime in with a heart if you don't want to chime in with the chat. And if you are someone who likes to not color, then go ahead and give me a thumbs up. Be interesting to see how that plays out. I'll have to look on the replay because I can't color and watch at the same time. This is pecan pie. Just coloring in the center of my sunflowers. And there we go. We have a little cute note card. Perfect for sending a friend to just check in on them. So I'm going to turn you back around right now. Let me just put my lights back up so I'm not going to be in the dark. And we will... Oh, here I am. Let me just finish fixing this. Oh. All right, let's see. Let me back off a little bit so you don't have a big Sharon head there, right there. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. And just a reminder that we have, our last chance list. If there's something that you want that's on the last chance list, especially, those discounted pieces, there's some really great deals on those lists, up to 60% off, and including some of my very favorite, like those scalloped contours dies. Oh my goodness, if you don't own them, you want to own them. They are great basic layers that add just a little bit of beauty and interest that you wouldn't get with just a regular rectangle. So check out that last chance list. If you need a copy of it, I'd be happy to send you one. Just message me, what is my email? Stamperhood@gmail.com, and I will get that to you. Thanks. Have a great rest of your weekend, and I will see you soon. Bye.